It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Vito Mielnicki Jr. versus James Martin, which is an 8-rounder in the welterweight division. And this fight was Saturday, April 17th, from the Shrine Exposition Center in Los Angeles, California. And this fight was broadcasted on Fox. And in this fight, the 18-year-old prospect Vito Mielnicki Jr. gets his first taste of defeat to the relatively unknown James Martin. And going into this fight, many people thought that Vito Mielnicki would come out on top, similar to his last performance, via wide unanimous decision, as he was taking on a guy who was just coming off a loss to a prospect in Xander Zayas back in February via wide decision. But boy, Vito Mielnicki was in for a shock, as here James Martin was able to win, in my opinion, very, very wide, but he actually was able to win a majority decision, although it should have been a wide unanimous decision, as I scored the fight 79-73 in favor of James Martin. Mielnicki just couldn't keep up with the pace, and if you looked at the punch stats, I mean, you could see Mielnicki was outlanded by 80, 70, or 60 shots, somewhere around there. I believe he landed 70 or 80 shots to James Martin's 150 or 160 shots. I mean, he was just getting outworked through and through. The first round was pretty competitive, could have went either way, but I gave it to James Martin. The second round, Martin landed a beautiful left hook that seemingly hurt the nose of Mielnicki, as Mielnicki started to bleed profusely out of that nose. Then in the third round, Mielnicki was just getting outlanded again. That fourth round I gave to Mielnicki. I thought he landed some better shots, and he was able to outland James Martin. But from the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, in my opinion, they were clear rounds for James Martin, especially that 7th round where he was able to hurt Mielnicki multiple times, landing some beautiful combinations. And too bad James Martin doesn't have a lot of power, because if he did, he could have got Mielnicki out of there in that 7th round. But that 8th round was a little more competitive as well. At most, in my opinion, you could give Mielnicki 3 rounds. I only gave him 1. And the swing rounds, in my opinion, were round 1 and round 8. But in that 8th round, right in the last 10 seconds, Mielnicki got hit with a beautiful right hand that sent him back, and he looked relatively hurt. But what is next for Vito Mielnicki after getting his first taste of defeat as an 18-year-old? He was 8-0 going into this fight. I mean, I'm not really too sure, and in my opinion, there are 2 options for him. He seems like a great kid. He seems very nice when I've seen him in interviews and stuff like that. But if you can't beat guys at this level, I know he's only 18 and he could grow from this, but if you just can't beat guys at this level, then you can't beat the guys like Errol Spence, Sean Porter, even Terrence Crawford, who were the champions in his weight class. And nor could he beat even a top 10 guy like Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman. So maybe he should consider hanging up the gloves and going back to school, college, something like that, because I believe last year he just finished high school, so he still has the opportunity to get an education and get a well-paying job. But that's just a standpoint if he wants to take that, or he could just bounce back from this defeat, still continue fighting, and then just build himself back up, get some good wins, learn from this experience. And this could have been a huge learning experience for him right here, and show that he really needs to pick up in some of his fights and just stop trying to counter every single time, because in most of his fights he tries to be a counter puncher, but in this fight he couldn't, because James Martin had slick and good head movement and would just outland him whenever Mielnicki would try and land one big shot. But what is next for James Martin? I mean, not really too many opportunities in my opinion. He might get offered to fight yet another prospect similar to a Clay Collard, where Collard, after he beat one prospect, he was just offered to fight many, many others, and after that he was able to put a name for himself as the prospect killer, where he beat 3 prospects in the year 2020. But I would love to see James Martin back on the PBC stage, on Fox, on national television, fighting another prospect. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Joey Spencer. I'm not really too sure if he can move up to 154, James Martin, but that would be a great fight. So overall, James Martin upsets the young Vito Mielnicki Jr. to get his 7th victory, winning via majority decision. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.